Coming up on this edition of SU TV News, the NDSU men's basketball team is off to the big dance.
NDSU students bingo for a fellow Bison.
And we look over NDSU's midterm grade policy.
This is SU TV News, and it starts now.
Welcome to this edition of SU TV News. I'm Allie Thorson.
And I'm Cassie Rolfing. The Bison men are going to the big dance once again.
Joining us live in studio is SU TV Sports Director Joel Sipper with a preview of how the Bison men won the Summit League Championship in Sioux Falls earlier this week.
Well, it's every college player's dream to get a shot at the big dance, and that dream came true Tuesday. NDSU beat South Dakota State in the Summit League Championship 57-56. Stay with us for sports as we go into the basketball team's run in the tournament.
A racist chant on a fraternity bus has led to the Sigma Alpha Epsilon chapter at the University of Oklahoma to be shut down. The university president says the fraternity is permanently off campus. Elena Machado reports that reaction to the video has been swift.
The chant is so offensive, it's hard to listen to.
They'll never be sing. They'll never be sing. You ain't from a tree, but it'll never stop with me.
SAE, short for the fraternity Sigma Alpha Epsilon. This chapter at the University of Oklahoma is on their way to a Saturday night party celebrating the fraternity's founding. The video was sent anonymously to a campus group called Unheard that works to fight racism on campus. On Sunday, they posted it online. Unheard's co-founder spoke to CNN's Nick Valencia.
This chant wasn't something they learned overnight. It was something that was well-known, well-versed, that everybody on that bus felt privileged to say and to proudly clap at.
The video exploded online. The outrage was universal. By Sunday night, SAE's national headquarters suspended its OU chapter.
It's absolutely appalling and disgusting. We are just as shocked and outraged as other people because that's not the type of behavior that SAE is about. That's not what our organization is about, and that is no way acceptable.
Today, the university president announced all fraternity members were evicted from their house.
And as they pack their bags, I hope they think long and hard about what they've done. This is not who we are, and we won't tolerate it. Not for 1 minute from anybody. So the house will be closed, and as far as I'm concerned, it won't be back.
Storm clouds were overhead as fraternity members loaded up U-Haul trucks outside the SAE house earlier today. Campus police stood guard. Some of the frat brothers reportedly had received death threats. And on one side of the house, someone had spray-painted graffiti that appeared to read, "Tear it down."
They'll never be
The university continues to investigate, saying expulsion is one option on the table for anyone chanting such hateful words. Elena Machado, CNN, Norman, Oklahoma.
The SAE members had until midnight on Tuesday to leave their fraternity house.
More than 5 years after Menard Hall collapsed, NDSU is being compensated. District Court Judge Frank Raychek ruled that the collapse is covered by the State Fire and Tornado Fund. The amount the carrier owes will be determined later in June. The fund initially denied the claim, which prompted NDSU to sue. Parts of Menard Hall fell on December 27, 2009 during the hall's $18 million expansion.
It's midterm week at NDSU, and many students are wondering where they stand grade-wise in their classes. But what exactly is NDSU's midterm policy? SU TV News Director Brittany Hovland has more.
I had no idea that there was a midterm grade policy at NDSU. It's never happened to me before, and I was never informed by it by any other means.
NDSU's midterm policy has been in effect for almost 2 years, and its goal is to be an early intervention effort. Instructors are highly encouraged to enter deficient grades of D's and F's on a campus connection. Registration and records then send students with deficient grades an email notifying them of their grades.
I think that it's a really good idea, especially if people aren't doing well, including younger kids who come to NDSU. but I think that it should be known to everyone that it could happen.
But what should students do after they receive the email?
To talk with their instructor first. The instructor will be the best person that can help you to improve in a course. And then talking with their advisor as well. The advisor can have a conversation about what was happening, why are you performing that way in that class, and maybe some tips and strategies to improve to salvage the class, or talk about what's remaining still in the class if it's possible to improve.
And for many who were notified of their deficient grade, it's been a wake-up call.
I got this email from him and he said, "What are you going to do about your deficiency in genetics?" And I thought, oh geez, I better do something about this. I knew I wasn't doing very well in the class, but it really reminded me that, okay, I got to do something. And I said, well, that's a really good question. I've never had this problem before. And he said, well, first thing you should do is go meet with the teacher. So I did. She was super nice, spent a lot of time with me. I ended up meeting with her several times, so that helped. But I ended up doing really well in the class.
Brittany Hovland, SU TV News.
March 6th was the actual midpoint of the semester, but the deadline for instructors to enter deficient grades isn't until tomorrow, March 13th.
Nearly $1,700 was raised recently for an NDSU student in need of medical care. Bingo for Bowler was held with the goal of providing funds for NDSU junior Cassandra Bowler. The Kappa Delta sorority member recently discovered that her brain had herniated out of its cavity. Bowler was also planning on having another surgery to implant a hearing aid because she is deaf in one ear. Her sorority decided to hold a grocery bingo benefit to raise money for Cassie and her family to help cover the costs of the two surgeries. Cassie even showed her appreciation by surprising everybody at the benefit.
Ever since we started this, people have been emailing her, messaging her, Facebooking her, saying, we're thinking of you and we're praying for you, because she's not here anymore. She had to drop out of school for this semester and go back home to have her brain surgery. So she's been having a lot of support verbally and through social media and stuff like that, and then also to support them financially.
You can check out the Spectrum for more information on the event and Cassie's surgery.
NDSU celebrated a big anniversary this week.
We'll have more on that after this week's 7-day forecast.
It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's the power of free checking with Kasasa. First Community Credit Union offers free ATMs, mobile banking, and are conveniently located right next to the campus of NDSU. We also offer Kasasa, which is a free checking account that pays you cash. Kasasa requires no minimum deposit to open, no monthly service fees, and don't forget the free ATMs. Discover the power of Kasasa at your local First Community Credit Union.
The NDSU bookstore has everything you need to show off your Bison pride. The bookstore can have you sporting green and gold wherever you go. It offers many different brands, sizes, styles, and selection so that you find exactly what you're looking for. Shop the NDSU bookstore and show your spirit today.
Flashback to March 8, 1890, when NDSU was the North Dakota Agricultural Experiment Station, and enrollment was at a high of 29.
Fast forward to this week when NDSU celebrated its 125th anniversary. Dozens of people showed up at the library for the celebration and were treated with birthday cake and lemonade. And cake wasn't the only treat those who came received. The library showcased their new photo timeline exhibit along the downstairs wall and presented their new virtual online timeline as well.
The Pride of North Dakota is making its way across the pond to Dublin, Ireland. Members of the Gold Star Marching Band are going to march in the Dublin St. Patrick's Day Parade. For the cost of $2,100, past and current Gold Star Marching Band members, along with their families, will be leaving Friday morning to start the trek to Ireland. 60 people from the band and 14 family members will be spending 6 days sightseeing, playing, and finally marching in the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Although the amount of people going is less than half of the usual number of marching band students, those attending are still excited to see what the trip has in store.
We want to go back to Ireland. Maybe just not come home. I think it's a great experience of how other people see the band, and I think it'll give a lot of people another reason to be in band and to stay.
The Gold Star Marching Band will be one of 11 marching bands in the parade. If you're interested in watching, the parade will be live streamed at stpatricksfestival.ie.
Does playing with robots and hanging out with friends sound fun to you? Then the Bison Robotics Club may be just the place. Started last year, the Bison Robotics Club was formed by engineering students, but anybody is allowed to join. The group works on a few different projects throughout the year.
There's a few different projects. We have the autonomous snowplow, which is kind of shifting towards the group. It started as a senior design project and was kind of some thesis work for a while. Now it's going to shift towards the group work. And we have the quadcopter. So they basically try and build a quadcopter from scratch just for fun because they want to do something the robot club can do. And yeah, I think those are the two main projects. There's another project trying to do some stuff with walking robots. It's just starting to get off the ground. So.
When we come back, we have a look at Fargo's flood predictions.
Stay with us. The NDSU bookstore has everything you need to show off your Bison pride. The bookstore can have you sporting green and gold wherever you go. It offers many different brands, sizes, styles, and selection so that you find exactly what you're looking for. Shop the NDSU bookstore and show your spirit today.
It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's the power of free checking with Kasasa. First Community Credit Union offers free ATMs, mobile banking, and are conveniently located right next to the campus of NDSU. We also offer Kasasa, which is a free checking account that pays you cash. Kasasa requires no minimum deposit to open, no monthly service fees, and don't forget the free ATMs. Discover the power of Kasasa at your local First Community Credit Union.
SUTV News is a production of the Bison Information Network in conjunction with North Dakota State University's Department of Communication Broadcast Program. For more information, go to www.ndsubin.com.
Welcome back. After a mild winter, Red River Valley residents can rejoice once again.
According to the National Weather Service, the chances of flooding in the Red River Basin are low this spring. The NWS also showed less than a 50% chance on the Red River reaching the 18-foot flood stage in Fargo. The good news is largely due to the low amount of snow we've had this winter. Low snowpack and low snow moisture have created dry soil in the valley.
Unless something changes very quickly, not only will flooding not be a threat this spring, it might be one of those somewhat unusual springs where the river doesn't even go above flood stage, similar to what happened back in 2012. So this is about as the lowest of a flood threat this area has experienced in quite some time.
Outlook calls for dry conditions this spring, a welcome change from past floods. Those affected by floods will have dry eyes and a dry home this spring.
An inharmonious outcome for Blurred Lines, Blue Steel is the talk of Paris and a surprising installment in the Ghostbusters franchise. Here's Mary Muller with today's Hollywood Minute.
Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams are in copyright trouble over their song Blurred Lines. Variety reports the two will have to pay $7.3 million to the estate of Marvin Gaye. A Los Angeles jury decided the hit infringed on Gaye's 1977 song, Got to Give It Up. Variety says Blurred Lines has earned $16.5 million since its release. Blue Steel is back. Paramount Pictures released a clip of Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson hitting the runway at Paris Fashion Week in character. Derek Zoolander and Hansel showed off their style at a Valentino fashion show to promote the Zoolander sequel slated for 2016. Stiller posted a photo of the event to Instagram saying apparently Derek and Hansel have come to terms on #Zoolander2. Ladies move over, Deadline reports a second Ghostbusters reboot is in the works. This time it's all men. The website says Channing Tatum will star. Even Ghostbusters alum Dan Aykroyd will have a part to play. He's forming a production company with Sony to cash in on opportunities with the original comedy. For Hollywood Minute, I'm Mary Muller.
Well, it looks like spring break is just around the corner, and both of us have our own trips planned.
For this week's Sidewalk Stampede, we asked other students what their plans were for spring break.
What are you going to do over spring break?
Doing cultural and sociologic studies in South Padre Island, Texas.
What does that mean?
I'm going to a huge spring break destination. It's going to be a bunch of drunk college kids.
I'm actually going to stay here in Fargo. Not going to do anything too much fun. I have a lot of midterms to do, but I will be celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
Well, I'm going home to visit my family, and even though they're only 20 minutes away, it's always good to spend more time with your family.
Studying, doing huge projects, going home for like 2 days maybe.
To Western North Dakota to see some historic sites, visit my aunt, go down the Enchanted Highway. That's not a drug reference.
Well, actually, I'm just going home and taking a break from school and not doing anything. I was going to go to Idaho, but then plans changed, so.
Going on a Pay It Forward tour to Washington, D.C. with Students Today, Leaders Forever.
Go back to Jamestown. Hang out. My brother's coming home. I get to see him.
I am going to Minnesota to visit my friend who lives just north of Duluth, and hopefully we'll go skiing if all the snow doesn't melt.
Joining us now is Sports Director Joel Sipper.
Joel, what do you have for us tonight?
Well, we're going to go dance, and NDSU made it to the tourney.
It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's the power of free checking with Kasasa. First Community Credit Union offers free ATMs, mobile banking, and are conveniently located right next to the campus of NDSU. We also offer Kasasa, which is a free checking account that pays you cash. Kasasa requires no minimum deposit to open, no monthly service fees, and don't forget the free ATMs. Discover the power of Kasasa at your local First Community Credit Union.
The NDSU bookstore has everything you need to show off your Bison pride. The bookstore can have you sporting green and gold wherever you go. It offers many different brands, sizes, styles, and selection so that you find exactly what you're looking for. Shop the NDSU bookstore and show your spirit today.
All year, the Bison men's team has been overlooked, but come tournament time, anything can happen. Let's take a look at what happened in Sioux Falls earlier this week. Well, when the calendar says March, that simply means one thing for college basketball fans and players. March Madness. This year, the Denny Sanford Premier Center will be host of the Summit League tournament for the first time. NDSU took care of business right away as they went up against number 7 seed Denver. They won 61-50. AJ Jacobson had 23 points for a game high. On to the semifinals. NDSU would take on number 3 Oral Roberts, and it was defense that led the way in the end. Lawrence Alexander here, he's going to get the clutch block to get it, to seal the deal for NDSU. They won 60-56, and they would have a date with South Dakota State in the championship. Not many people think that they were going to be here at the start of the year. They were picked 5th in the preseason poll. Many people still doubted them, especially after a 64-63 narrow victory over the University of Minnesota Crookston. But this team is bonded together, and they have come together to get atop of the Summit League. They'll be stepping into what is going to be a Lions Den here. More than 10,000 SDSU fans expected to be at this game, where they certainly will be expected to be the underdogs. But that is a role that this team has relished, and this is a team that is determined to prove everyone wrong. Corey and LA dancing before the game, hoping that they were going to get a chance to dance on the big dance themselves. Let's pick it up late here. SDSU coming down, controversial call. George Marshall loses it out of bounds. NDSU gets the ball, and they foul LA, who misses the free throw. 57-56 with 8 seconds left. SDSU doesn't call a timeout. DeAndre Parks heaves one final pair up. He misses, and the Bison storm the court, and they're going to go dancing for the second year in a row. NDSU wins 57-56. Lawrence Alexander propelled the Bison to victory with 25 points, who was 6 of 9 from three-point range. NDSU will find out who they play Sunday in Sioux Falls. I'm Joel Sipper, reporting for SU TV Sports. To women's basketball, NDSU has never made it past the quarterfinal in their history in the Summit League. SU TV's Ryan Longnecker hosts our coverage in Sioux Falls for the Summit League tournament.
NDSU's women's basketball team is facing off against number 3 Oral Roberts University. This should make an interesting matchup as NDSU beat Oral Roberts at home, however lost when away. Well, even though we're in Sioux Falls, plenty of Bison fans showed up for the game, and this is 6'7" Florida transfer Vicky McIntyre. She'll be a handful for the Bison today. Away here in the first half, Thunstead with the miss from 3. However, Morena Whittle will get that putback to put NDSU up 9-6. Then halfway through the first half, Jordan Doyle with a nice layup here to put Oral Roberts up 16-10, and from here on it was kind of an Oral Roberts kind of show. Here's Toe Jackson right at the end of the first half with the 3-point buzzer beater to put ORU up 37-26. Here's the men's Bison team in attendance to cheer on the women. And then we have here Thunstead from 3. And it was good. However, it would not be enough and maybe a little too late. ORU still up 42-31 halfway through the second. Jordan Gilbert with a dish to McIntyre to put ORU up And with that, NDSU loses to Oral Roberts University 58-71. Brooke Lamar led the Bison with 29 points, while Vicky McIntyre of Oral Roberts had 18 points and a game-high 19 rebounds. This is her 24th double-double of the year.
Played Vicky. She's obviously a very good player, knows how to use her body well, and so it's a challenge for anybody, but yeah.
Brooke's a special young lady, and we're losing a special young lady, you know, also, but I'll be happy not to have to worry about Brooke in a scouting report again in the future, so.
I don't miss playing with these kids. I mean, they're a great group. I wouldn't want to have played with any other team. You know, I made lifelong friends with these girls.
And with the win, Oral Roberts will go on to play number 2 South Dakota State in the semifinals tomorrow.
After a dominant performance on their home mat last weekend for the NCAA West Wrestling Regionals, the Bison have been rewarded. NDSU advanced 6 wrestlers, and 3 of them earned seeds for the NCAA Championships. 6 individuals is the most NDSU has ever sent to the NCAA Championships. The wrestlers are 125-pound Josh Rodriguez, 141-pound Mitch Benson, 149-pound Clay Ream, 174-pounder Curtis Julesen, 184-pounder Hayden Zilmore, and senior 285-pounder Evan Knutson. Knutson, Rodriguez, and Zilmer were the Bison that earned seeds.
Well, thanks, Joe. Don't go away. When we come back, there will be more.
Stay with us.
More than 400 million people use Facebook to stay connected with family, friends, and colleagues, in addition to the millions of others who use Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and Flickr for networking purposes. While Facebook and other social media sites are great tools to help you connect with friends and build networks, you should also be aware of the potential dangers associated with using these tools. So, let's talk tech. First of all, always be mindful of what you and your friends are posting online. Nothing online is private, no matter what security settings a website may boast. Anything posted online stays online. So take time to consider what you and your friends are putting online before you post it. For example, do you want your potential employers or your current boss to see embarrassing pictures that your friends have posted? There's also the question of how much information should you disclose on a social media site. Posting too much personal information could lead to lost job opportunities, harassment, internet stalking, and identity theft. Don't publicize information that the public doesn't need to know. Finally, you should think about who you want to see those things you've posted online. By evaluating the appropriateness of the privacy settings on your social media site, it is recommended that you customize your settings such that only your close friends can see your personal information, such as your home address, email, and phone numbers. Ideally, this information should not even be online. Additionally, social media networks frequently update their security protocols, so be sure to review and update your security settings regularly. With these precautions, you will be well on your way to enjoying a safe and secure social networking experience.
With spring break less than 2 days away, not every college student is leaving for Cancun, South Padre, or Panama City Beach. Some are staying right here in North Dakota, but their week might not be as crazy as some NDSU students from over 40 years ago.
University has been ordered off campus by the university president. The North Dakota community of Zap is quiet after a weekend rampage by college students.
Before there was Woodstock, there was Zip to Zap. This 3-day-long party occurred from May 9th to the 11th in 1969 in the small town of Zap, North Dakota. Zip to Zap was the brainstorm of an NDSU student newspaper writer. The idea was then picked up by UND and soon spread to other campuses. The event was promoted as an alternative spring break. Zip to Zap became such a huge event that the tiny town of 250 grew 10 times over the course of the weekend. The party eventually had to be shut down by the National Guard due to excessive partying, rioting, and aggression. There has not been an event of this nature in North Dakota since.
Well, thank you for joining us on this edition of SUTV News.
Be sure to pick up a copy of The Spectrum and check us out on Facebook or follow us on Twitter.
Also, visit us at NDSUbin.com for your chance to win some special prizes.
Have a great night.